family, how you guys doing? Welcome to Phie.Love Intuitive Conversations. I hope you guys are good. Yeah. If you like my content, please do like, share, and subscribe. And if there's any negativity, if there's any hate, please do keep that on your side of the street, okay? Won't be acknowledged. So, family, in this video, I'm being guided by Spirit to the message today is that if you recognize that you've started feeling misaligned, or that your change has started, so just because you're changing doesn't mean that the other people around you are changing, okay? If you're changing, if you're healing, if you're evolving, if you're taking the time to work on yourself, if you've started moving into an energy and a flow and a current that has you ascending in perspective within yourself, as this continues to gradually happen, the gap between the vibration that you come from and where you are now starts to widen more and more, okay? And the changes have started happening now within you so much that even the people around you, it becomes blatant, right? And it's nothing personal. It's not even something that's going to sort of shine through in your environment, but it's your spiritual awareness now that has ascended, that has expanded, that is growing, and that is residing in a place that the people you've had around you have not ascended to, have not yet transitioned to, or are not in the process like you might be of transitioning into a higher perspective, a higher vibration, a higher frequency. And the more the gap becomes visible, the more your interactions with other people will start to feel different. You'll perceive them differently. You'll get frustrated with them. Their conversation, you'll start seeing the limitation in their reasoning, right? They'll start shining through to you. And what I'm saying, it's nothing personal. And even in your situations, it'll be nothing personal. But their sort of, their way of being, their reasoning, the way they show up, the energy starts looking, the immaturity shines out, okay? The limitation in perspective starts to shine through, and it can shock you a little bit when you really take some time to think about it. When you look at it, in the beginning, you might just feel the irritation. You might just, hear them say something that maybe they've said before and it didn't bother you. It didn't stand out. But hearing them say it now, it's, makes you feel a little sideways, like, did I always feel this way about you? Did the things you spoke about in the past, like, they've never made me feel this way, and now I'm suddenly feeling a kind of way, right? So Spirit would like you to just allow those things to happen. And when you see them happening, don't fight them. Move with the flow. If you see the gap is widening, now you can recognize, okay, this person and I are no longer in alignment. It's time for me to let go. It's time for me to move on. It's time for me to move to people and an environment and a place and a space of perspective and vibration and reasoning and experience that is going to align with me, right? Move into a place of people or company that I'll be able to be with, that I'll be able to interact with, and I'm not going to feel out of sync with them. I'm not going to feel like I'm the 12th grader having to sit and listen to the 7th or the 6th graders having their chats and their conversations, trying to have a conversation with me, right? It's not personal. It's just a different reality and space and perspective and realm of understanding and being and energy that you're existing in compared to where they are, right? And you start, things just start becoming a little dull. Things start becoming a little unnecessary, right? Things start becoming a little too extra. The reactivity, the excitement, the things that might excite them or that used to excite you together with them no longer stimulate you in that way or pull you into a place of seeing that as entertaining or something you want to be a part of, or even certain group activities. The group activities, they start to diminish, they start to become less, and the need to always have too many people around, too many extra people in your space, the need to have extra energies and perspectives around, always validating what it is that you want to do and where you want to go and what you're thinking and what you're planning on doing, and the excitement and arousal for the opposite sex that maybe the younger that the one that maybe the ones who are still in the unevolved states of being become aroused by, and it's in the music, it's in what they watch, it's in the conversations they have, it's in the types of activities that they engage in, right? These are the things that once you start ascending, once your perspective starts raising and the gap starts growing, you start seeing more and more how you naturally start moving away from that old vibration, the old way of being, the old energy that used to come with all of that, right? Don't fight it. Don't think there's something wrong with you. Don't think that don't also translate that as maybe the next person having something wrong with you. It's just a natural progression that's happening. And just because it's the program that you're on, understand everybody moves on to that program at they move into that current of evolving and changing and transforming within themselves at their own time and according to their own spiritual blueprint and guidance and experience of their own life, right? You can all be in the same group and in the same circles, but your timing for different things and different spiritual points and ascension and awakening and things that happen in your life compared to others that trigger things they happen at different times. So don't get too attached to people, especially if it's people from your past that you've been extremely that you've had yourself consciously bound to, right? Allow those things to happen. Allow one another to just go where the energy is taking each of you. Don't make a big deal out of seeing that you're misaligned. You interpret that as you growing, as you moving into a different state of being and reasoning and understanding. You're changing, and that's what's supposed to happen. And as you change, you know that the people around you are going to change. If people around you are not changing, are not moving, are not, then you're not changing. And the people around you are not changing, are not growing. So Spirit just doesn't want you to, how to say, don't fight it when you start seeing the misalignment shine through. Don't fight it when you start feeling spiritually distant from the next person who's always been in your environment. Don't fight it, and don't go into trying to fix it mode when you're starting to see the things in people that previously, from the perspective you resided at, from the state of being and the energy you were residing in together with them, when you were still aligned to them, you weren't able to see. Don't be surprised when you move into a place where you're starting to see yourself and work through things within yourself, that you're now able to see things in people that you were not able to see before, simply because you were not able to see them in yourself. So you were not going to see them or accept them in other people. Okay? So allow your changes, allow the transformations to happen. If it's you, or if you recognize it happening around other people, with other people around you, maybe others around you are growing, and others or someone else around you is growing, and you're picking up on the difference in their energy, the difference in their behavior. You're picking up on their distance. You're picking up on them, where they'd normally join in and laugh extra loud with you and get excited. You pick up on the silence. Sometimes it's not personal and it's not you. Someone might just be growing and changing. Someone might just be moving into a different perspective, a different place of being. Maybe they don't resonate where you resonate anymore, and that's fine. Okay? Don't try and hold people hostage. And when you find yourself moving into those places of trying to hold people who are changing hostage, take a step back, look within yourself and ask yourself, why am I so afraid of this person moving into their own space and moving on their own path and their own way? Why is their change making me insecure? Why is their change making my experience uneasy? Where is this? What about this is triggering abandonment issues for me? And yeah, I guess sometimes it is hard to accept that maybe certain friends and people that you've bound yourself to, even family members or whatever it is, are changing, and their lives are sort of moving away from you, and you're no longer aligned. Your energies are no longer going in the same direction, right? But it's life, it happens, right? Sometimes these things create bridges to become burnt. Sometimes they're happening to bring other things into your life, right? But again, also, if you're somebody who's going through the changes, if you're the person who's becoming distant, the person who's recognizing the gap, like I've said before, it can make people uneasy, and people behave in ways that you might not have expected or seen them to behave before. They become desperate, they become clingy, they ask too many questions, asking you questions that the answers to those questions they themselves wouldn't even be able to understand or perceive. Which is why as well the divine says it's okay to just quietly move on. You don't have to use your energy and use your breath to try and get people to understand decisions that you're making that are emanating from you moving into a higher place and a higher perspective and becoming closer to yourself. Okay? Allow it to happen. And see the lessons learned, see your ability to see things in other people, see your ability to recognize the distance in perspective, the distance in mind, the difference, the distance in being, the distance in where you are in your places of life. Allow that also just to be a positive marker for you on the inside, a confirmation for yourself of your growth, a confirmation for yourself of your progress, a marker for you to see, oh wow, okay, well, yeah, I've actually grown and I've changed. Is that where I used to be? Is that how I used to act? Is that how I used to see things? I used to be limited in my own perspective once upon a time. The light just comes on one day and you recognize that, oh my goodness, the people I surround myself with have limitation in the way they see things and the way they reason. I'm not there anymore. I see the things now that they can't see. I'm able to value things now and translate things now in a way that it seems like they're not able to value and translate things. They're still very aligned to how the programming is guiding their minds and their perspectives and their reasoning. I'm moving into a place now where, I'm seeing the difference. And me being able to see the difference is allowing me to actually move with higher reasoning. I'm embodying my change. I'm acting out of the change and the knowing and the understanding and the perspective that I hold now. That maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, I didn't have. I wasn't embodied in it. It wasn't a part. It wasn't in my view. Okay, and understand that the divine will move those people at the right time to the right information and the right people, and who is best for them in their lives to help them trigger into their next stage of growth. Into their higher perspective necessary. For their next, steps and growth in life. The same way it was done for you. What works for you will not always work for the next person, and generally it won't work for the next person because they might be misaligned in perspective, they might be misaligned in energy, they might be misaligned in whatever the material or person was, misaligned to whatever the material or the person was that the divine used, specifically designed for you to bring you into your alignment, to bring you into your growth and your forward movement. Okay, so don't get angry, don't get frustrated with people, don't expect the people to just suddenly feel positive and see the growth that you're trying to show that you've attained and that you have. Don't get frustrated when they respond to that negatively. It can be them not understanding, and it can also come with envy and jealousy. So don't rub things in people's faces. Like I've said before, stay focused on where you are, stay focused on what you're doing. You don't have to be vocal about everything that you see and you experience. Always be in a state of information gathering that does not need to always be vocalized. Okay. So I'm gonna leave it there. Appreciate your liberation, okay? Because generally, these gaps that develop between you and other people, they're liberating. It's you being liberated from an old energy and perspective and mindset, right? There's more freedom now. There's more understanding. The horizons have opened. The options, the possibilities. It's all opened up for you in a way that you were not able to perceive before, right? So let it be. And if they're immature, if you start interpreting the people around you as immature, recognize it and start working within yourself to let it go, deal with your emotions if you have any, and what, deal with the attachments that you have, and move on. They're not meant to be in your life. If the spiritual distance is starting to become, blatantly visible. I'm hearing the song. There's a song, I forgot what they're called, but it's called Crave You. They stare at me while I crave you. Why don't you want me like the other boys do? They stare at me while I crave you. And what I'm picking up with that is like a younger energy wanting an older energy to give it the attention and to see it the way, and to see things the way it wants to be seen. Yeah, that's what I'm picking up in the energy. So if you have someone younger than you, not understanding your changing, not understanding your changes, not understanding your reasoning for not wanting them in your space. Could be younger women, younger men, friends, whatever it is. It might just be a little bit of that obsessive energy that underdeveloped energies go through when you don't give them the energy or the attention anymore. So let it play itself out and just stay focused. Don't give all of that your energy and attention. Okay, just let it go. And don't get irritated and nasty. Move with understanding and assertiveness, and say no and stick to it. Okay, whatever that means for whoever it is. So I'm gonna pull a card now. Let's see. I'm gonna pull a card from the Flower Therapy deck. Okay, and by Doreen Virtue. Okay, and let's see what Spirit has to support our conversation, or to give somebody who's watching our video a nudge in a specific direction. Okay, let's see. And please have one card, Spirit. Okay, and please have, thank you. That's quick. You are a spiritual teacher. Share your wisdom with others. You were born to teach. Okay, so for me, I'm picking up on this card. It speaks to the maturity that you're moving into. Okay, you have wisdom now. You're moving into a place of wisdom where you're able actually to, through your actions, teach those around you. Okay, you've learned, you're growing, and now you can become the example for those around you by moving in your understanding and moving in the maturity that you're gathering and that you're gaining over time. Just by others looking at you, by others observing the decisions that you make and being in those decisions and sticking to them and being confident in them, and having people observe your experience within the decisions that you make and how you build your life. That's how you're an example. You don't have to be vocal. You don't have to be performative. Let your maturity, let your growth speak for itself. You don't have to put your growth on display. It will display itself. Okay? So, be the spiritual teacher. Okay? Let's see what the book has to say. That's weird. I'm not finding the page. You are a spiritual teacher. I was wondering. Okay, I'm gonna find it. I found it. So, the book says, you have the ability to relay healing messages to others. And this card is all the confirmation you need to begin your spiritual teaching work. And if you have, okay, I'm getting, so if you have younger people around you who are struggling to with your distance, who are struggling with, you know, with recognizing that you just don't you don't resonate with them anymore. Share maybe some words of wisdom. I don't know. Help them understand. But don't be excessive about it. And also recognize when someone isn't picking up what you're putting down. Allow the person to be where they are, and move on. Stay in your lane and don't let anybody hold you back. You may not have considered this your purpose because fear was getting in the way. But by working with the uplifting and courageous energy of the crocus, that's the flower, okay, you can release all fear. Choosing to share your knowledge and wisdom will bring even more light to the planet. Needn't start off by holding huge classes. Inspiring even a single person is enough. In fact, you've already been sharing your guidance with an audience. Anytime you've spoken about spirituality, others have benefited from listening to you. Please embrace this gift and continue connecting people to their divinity. Additional meanings to this card. Delve into your own spirituality more deeply. So don't let the distance you see between you and others slow you down or feel like you need to fall back on whatever work you've been doing on yourself. Now is the time. If you recognize it, you continue, you put more effort into it, you keep going. Don't look back. Don't try and drag others along with you, because they're just gonna slow you down. You're already qualified to do this work, right? So I hope this has resonated, and I hope it's allowed you to just be accepting of whatever it is that's happening in your spiritual world as well as your environment. I hope it helps you take a moment to appreciate yourself and look at yourself, give yourself a pat on the back and recognize your growth and your ascension and movement from the old moving into the new, which means that your energy soon will also start attracting and moving towards people who you won't feel that distance with, who you'll actually be like, this makes sense, right? And be okay with letting whatever it is that you come from go. It's the system programming that will always tell you, never forget where you come from. That applies within yourself. Never forget where you've come from with regards to what you've overcome. Not with regards to the people that the system wants to keep you bound to in your past. Never allowing you to move locations energetically, physically, spiritually, whatever it is, keeping you bound to people, places, and things. Never forget where you've come from within yourself. What it's taken for you, what you've experienced, and what you've had to go through to overcome and stay grounded in the changes and the steps and strides forward that you've had to go through for yourself. And also, I don't know why I'm feeling to say this, but never expect your enemies or the people who put you through hell or the people you've had to liberate yourself from to validate you overcoming and moving out of what they put you through. You're never going to get the validation because they never wanted you to be where you are in the first place. So recognize as well when you're living in illusion, and your emotions and your ideas and the people you want validation from are not the ones you should be seeking it from. Okay? Don't seek validation from people who put you through shit that you've had to overcome. You move away from those kinds of people. Their hearts will never change towards you, regardless of whether they're smiling in your face and putting on shows to keep you around. Okay? Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there, family. I'll see you in the next video. Okay? Bye.